everyone, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 28 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host, Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches of 2020 with match number 23 on our list. Now, before we get into the match itself, I did want to just take a moment to discuss the speaking out movement. And the reason for that is that the two competitors that were in this match were both two of the names mentioned in the allegations during the speaking out movement. That put me at a very kind of strange crossroads when it came to this project that I'm doing and with making this list. This is one match. It would have been very, very easy for me to just simply omit this one match from the list. And that's what I was originally going to do. And I wasn't even going to rewatch this match. I thought it was great, at the start of the year before, everything kind of came to light the way it did. And then I really had no true desire to watch it again. That said, when I started thinking about doing this project, and I've been watching, other things that I have in the works for, future seasons of this. There are plenty of matches that feature wrestlers that have had these allegations come to light. So the decision that I've ultimately made for now, when I may change this, in the future, but for future lists, I don't want to discredit the work of the wrestlers that aren't scumbags, right? So, for example, if you had, a career match against someone that was, brought to light during speaking out, I don't want to take the value away from, the wrestlers that weren't, brought up in those allegations. So that's the decision I've made for now. I'm uncomfortable with it. I don't know if it's what I'll continue. With this match, again, for the sake of the project, I looked at it as a good match is a good match. If you choose not to watch this video, I completely understand. Normally, what I do with these videos is I'll post them on social media, and I'll tag on Instagram the wrestlers in the post. I will not do that with this match or any future match that involves anybody that was brought up in the speaking out movement. I had friends of mine that were very brave and and called out people that had treated them horribly and completely inappropriately. Of course, in the past I've had unfortunately I had friends that were some of the ones that had allegations placed upon them. It is a black eye on the wrestling industry that there are so many people involved that do this kind of harm. But again, to everybody that was brave enough to come forward, bravo and thank you, and we will continue to support you in any way that we can. Just me as a fan, and it's really great to see how the wrestling community it came together in the wake of this, and I hope it creates the change that I think we all hope that it will. So that brings me into today's match, which is the match between Tyler Bate and Jordan Devlin from NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool 2, held back on the 12th of January. This was a rematch from 2 years prior during the initial UK title tournament, which saw Bate defeat Devlin. Devlin had grown leaps and bounds since that match. In OTT, he went from a guy that when I initially saw him in the UK tournament, I kind of thought he was just a really bad Finn Balor clone, but he turned into a good performer. We'll say that. They just worked a match that, again, it's kind of becoming more of the norm in WWE through NXT, but it also still felt, different compared to what you would normally see. The crowd was electric for this match, which really elevated it. They did great counters all the way through. They did a really good job. They teased, Tyler Bates' kind of big, like, I'll call it like an Undertaker dive that he does, over the top rope to the floor. Devlin cut him off and then, countered it and do like a double knee gut buster when he came over the ropes at one time, which was pretty crazy. Again, just the counter stuff was really kind of smart and different. There was a spot where Bate went for a standing shooting star, but Devlin, having countered him previous times throughout the match, Bate put the brakes on and kind of just pretended that he was going to do it, and then ended up stomping him and hitting the shooting star for real, which was cool. Tyler Bate did a crazy airplane spin in this match that was just so fast and went on forever. It would make Daniel Bryan eat his heart out. Lots of just big moves that you don't see too often in WWE. There were slingshot cutters onto the ring apron, for example. The big kind of, I'll say, spot in this match that kind of went viral a little bit on the internet was the Fry Takayama spot that they did. Honestly, it wasn't nearly as bad as everybody dunked on it about. Sure, there were a couple punches that didn't connect, but I mean, have you watched a real fight? That's kind of how that goes, right? I thought it was fine, and the kind of finish with it was clever. Tyler Bate does that bop and bang where he kind of puts his arm up and then hits the punch. So he went for bop, and then Devlin hit bang and kind of gave him that jab. Again, more great counters. Tyler Bate does, I call it like the Los Luchas lariat. So he'll kind of, dive into the ropes and, bounce off of it neck first and rebound into a lariat. So he did that, and Devlin countered it and do a Spanish fly. And then they, while they were both on the mat, Tyler hit his bop and bang punch, and then Devlin hit him a headbutt. So again, just a different way to do that strike exchange. It's kind of cool. They did a crazy spot where they were both standing on the top rope, and they both completely turned around and switched positions. That was just really scary because both of those guys could have fallen. So just the control and balance it took, was amazing, and it led into a Jordan Devlin Spanish fly from the top. And then the finish I thought was great. They do all of these big moves and kickouts and your typical kind of, stuff that you would see. But Tyler Bate had to really go into his bag of tricks, and he did a Phoenix 720 DDT, which, was Jody Fleisch's finish. Jody Fleisch, it really deserves a lot of credit for the UK wrestling scene. And I think he's somebody that now is kind of, a bit of a lost legend, a little bit of forgotten about. So I thought it was just really cool and a tribute to him that Bate had to do that move to lead into the finish. He hit the Tyler Driver for 2 and then hit the Spiral Tap, which is how he won the UK title, a couple years prior. Again, just a really good, like, super indie match with big moves and counters and a hot crowd. It's everything you would want to see in that regard. Again, it has been sullied by, what's come to light after that. If you do want to watch it and think you can stomach it, it's on the WWE Network. Again, it's I included it here because it initially, when I did my rolling list of my favorite matches of the year all throughout the year, this landed on it when it happened, and again, I felt a little uncomfortable doing this video. But it is what it is, and I apologize to anybody that's been offended by it. And like I said, I completely understand if you choose to not watch this one. If you don't want to miss any future videos, though, please subscribe on YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50, and please join me again tomorrow as we continue to count down pro wrestling's top